So next week, Justin Gaethje, his opponent got announced, and it's going to be a rematch with Rafael Fiziev. What do you think about that fight? 3 rounds.
I know. I wish it was 5. I do wish it was 5. The real question is this. Gaethje got the win in the first one, okay, and you can look at it, but the Fiziev since that time hasn't won a fight. He's only had one other fight, and that was against Gamrot. And you look and you go, where is his head and stuff as far as he never had a fight in 2024. He's been out for over a year. So coming back against Justin, it could be that, you know what, hey, this is, my time to just throw it out online and go after him. That's awesome. Fiziev is incredibly talented in the stand-up. Justin was able to figure him out in the first one. I would not be surprised if Justin has even a better game plan to how to deal with him now that he's actually faced him, been with him, seen how fast he is, seen the way that he throws his kicks, all the different things. They'll have a good game plan for him, even though he was working to fight Hooker. He's going to be able to get a quick adjustment with someone that he has been in there with before. But I give it up to Fiziev for, taking that fight, putting his name out there to, take that place on short notice. That's what real fighters do.
John, I read something today from Justin Gaethje. I fought safe fights and I had some success when I fought Chandler and Fiziev. He's like, but that style is just not for me.
That sounds like Justin Gaethje. Look, if you're going to say one thing, and I've actually heard some people complaining about this fight, saying, we've seen it, and Gaethje's going to win. And I'm like, name me the fight that Justin Gaethje had that you said that was a horrible fight. He hasn't had any. The dude puts on a show. He comes to fight. He lays it on the line. He goes after his opponent, trying to finish him every time. Sometimes he uses his sword and slays the dragon. Sometimes he falls on that sword. But I'll tell you what, the guy doesn't have boring fights.
No, I mean, like, everything about him, like, he had some comments for me, like, on one of my Twitter posts about him. For me, it's more about being concerned for his health, the way he used to fight. And then he had success shortly after he changed it. He had success with Chandler, not because of me, I know that. But I'm saying shortly after that, he changed the way he fought, and he had the wins against Chandler and Fiziev. He just got outboxed against Max Holloway. My concern will always be, I think, with the fighters. That's just who I am. I care for people in general. And John can attest to this. I'm a very loyal person when it comes to my friendships. Very. And it's, look, I don't know him all that well. I've met him a couple of times. I think the world of him. I think he's a fantastic fighter. He's always been a very humble, very nice person to be around. I've seen him, socialize with fans. I've seen him socialize amongst his family and friends after his fights at the World Series of Fighting. Everyone loves him. He's a great guy. He has a persona about him that is just seems to be a very great person, and everyone loves him. I care for people like that want to be those kind of people, that want to make a difference with the people that they're around. And he seems like a great person. I don't want to see him continue to fight and get like hurt as bad as he did in his last fight. Do I think Fiziev can do that? Yeah. But do I think that Fiziev could also get knocked the fuck out as well? Absolutely. But if you know that the way you beat him last time was a safer way and you didn't take as much damage and there was some shots you took, sure, of course. But I thought he had a great performance in that fight. I was like, hey, this is one of those fights where you're going to have a longer career because of that. You've seen guys like Andrei Arlovsky switch the way they fight, and they've had a longer career because of it. Other guys have done it as well and had success. Justin coming out and saying, like, hey, that's just not my style. It's just, it makes it more complicated. But you had 2 good wins against 2 very tough fighters. And I don't know. For me, I'd like to see you fight as long as I can and have success. I think beating him the same way would probably be ideal. You get into a slugfest with him, you're opening yourself up to what happened in the last 10 seconds of the Max Holloway fight. Yeah. When you didn't need to, in those situations. Now, in that situation, you needed a knockout to win the fight. So I understood why you did it.
Sure.
But in this fight, like, you're starting off fresh. It's a even playing field. Go out there, win the first round, win the second, and then continue on and do what you got to do. I will always look forward to watching Justin Gaethje fight. No different than a Dustin Poirier fight. No different than a Max Holloway fight. or any other fighter out there that I really enjoy watching fight. Those three guys are at the top. Charles Oliveira is at the top of my list.
Hell yeah.
There's guys that I just really like. Anytime they're on the card, I have to tune in. I love watching them fight. And he's going to be one of them for a long time. And I have to admit this, I wasn't a huge fan when he was in the World Series of Fighting. I just wasn't. I was like, but then when I watched his Buscape fight, which to be honest, I thought he was losing that fight.
He was losing that fight.
And, and they got the win because of the cut and then this, but regardless, that fight kind of won me over because he never stopped trying. And then I was like, okay. And then he got to the UFC and his Michael Johnson fight. Made me a huge fan because, man, he should have lost that fight. And he just fucking didn't care. Just like, I'm going to keep walking forward. I'm going to keep hitting you with big shots. I'm going to keep kicking your leg, uppercut, overhand. Like he has that ability to absorb a lot of damage, but also just, he's got the power in his hands and the power in his kicks. And he's somebody, who's mainly boxing, but utilizes his kicks. That opens up his boxing.
His kicks are very devastating as far as he uses kicks well to the leg to create problems for his opponents.
He's more of a well-rounded fighter than some of the fighters we saw tonight, John.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And what I'm saying is he's had a lot of success with his hands. Man, those leg kicks are nasty. Yeah, he kicks hard. Those guys that fight the way they fought tonight, they've got more, they have the ability to have more weapons than Justin Gaethje. They just choose not to use it, but they don't have the power of Justin Gaethje in kicks or in their hands. And so that's what just baffles me. Like he's so good. He's so talented and you can tell he fights with passion and I love it. I love everything about him, man. Just a stud all the way around. I can't say a negative thing about him. Not one thing. You'll never catch me ever saying something bad about him. Fantastic fighter, fantastic person seems to be.
I feel the same way about him. He's just fun to watch. So.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys YouTube 150 for the promo code. Also, Element, use the link in the descriptions down below. Any product you buy from there, they will send you a bonus package of product if you use our link down below. Element's amazing, man. I love it. And I want to say thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support us.